you want locals to do to help?
I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
Well, really what this is, Mr. Conadaris is hurting the town and hurting the will of the community. The town wants this. The community wants this. The town council wants this. The LPA wants this. The residents want this. The business owners want this. The property owners want this. The visitors want this. It's a very, very small minority that don't want this. And I'll call it I won't call it anything, but it's very few people. And Mr. Conadaris is disrupting our town, and he's been disrupting our town unassociated with the Margaritaville project. And I think it's about time the town does something about it. Mr. Conadaris sets his own rules, and he's not held to any standard. And we all know that when people think of Fort Myers Beach, they think of the Lani Kai, and they think of stabbings. They think of robberies. They think of muggings. They think of rapes. They think of, pimping, and they think of fatal accidents, and they think of gangs, and they think of gang fights. And what they also think of is that I don't want to live there. And this town has a desire to build a charter school. Who the heck wants their family to live here with the reputation of the Lani Kai? This town would like its property values to at least be somewhat comparable to those immediately south on Barrier Island to us, immediately north on the Barrier Island to us. We're at about a 40% discount to those property values. Why? Because of the Lani Kai. Because we are not regulating and holding that property to be responsible with its liquor license. In the town council, I'm making a plea to our town council, to our town administration, to review the Lani Kai's liquor license. I'm absolutely making a plea. You have the power. We have hired our people. We have reviewed your legal rights, and you have the rights to impose standards on the liquor licenses that you permit each year. Yes, it's a state liquor license, but the municipality has the final ruling on permitting each year. And you can set standards. I could tell you that our work and our background work has determined that on an average per year, and it's been consistent for the last number of years, that the Lani Kai's public service calls, which is Lee County Sheriff and FMB Fire District Emergency Medical Services, exceeds 500 per year consistently, year after year after year. Other resorts, you look at their records and their calls, and they're half a dozen, maybe up to 8 a year, compared to over 500 consistently for the Lani Kai. What is the financial cost for each one of those over 500 public service calls to the taxpayer? But greater yet, what about the reputation? That's the real cost. You ask me about what our costs are. The legal costs aren't the big ones. It's the delay costs. Well, the cost of this town, of the town council and our town administrative staff continuing to let the Lani Kai operate in a non-responsible fashion with their liquor license is such, I couldn't even begin to tally what the property values alone, what they are doing to diminish the values on Estero Island. So unassociated with our lawsuit, in another way, the Lani Kai is hurting all of us in this community. And I really make a plea to our town council and our town administrative leadership to take this on and not hold the Lani Kai to a different standard than anybody else. Hold Margaritaville to the exact same standard. Hold everybody to this standard. But they should not be able to play by their own rules.
Is that something a town council can do, or is that a state? Is that
town council
license?
Can do it.
They can. So I don't know where to go from there. So that was so how come it became so personal between between Conadaris and you? I mean, what is the problem? I mean, he's not being a good neighbor.
Competition. Bob doesn't want the competition, and we're not going to be competition. He can't quite understand the difference in demographics of our guests versus his guests. We will not have spring breakers. Our people are going to be paying over $600 a night for the hotel room. He's really a bar with beds. I mean, it's an entirely different clientele. We are not going to touch his business. In fact, the lifting of the tide is going to lift all boats. His business will improve. But he doesn't get it. He thinks that we're going to run him out of business. And it's that kind of change that he doesn't want. Let's say the truth, Bob.
as you can tell, this is a very personal thing for Tom, and it should be. I think Mr. Conandaris has kind of set the tone for the personal nature of whatever dispute that we're in the middle of right now. And again, I don't want to speak for Mr. Conandaris. He's perfect.